Hello, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to share with everyone that I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a spiritual master or an expert of any kind. I'm just a country pumpkin sharing his theoretic perspective for entertainment purpose only. And the topic for entertainment today is war on consciousness. This war on consciousness escalated more recently. What I mean recently is during our last the seeding of humanity 800,000 years ago, which became more about 6,000 years ago when things get more serious. And even now with current events. So the war in consciousness is what is a war between that started originally with the black hole system of, I don't know, 450 billion years ago, uh, roughly somewhere around there. Uh, that spread throughout the universe and the system, and it came more upfront in our face with on this planet where we have bioregenesis races that happened a long time ago. What we know in how human history as Darwin theories of evolution begin with the Neanderthal and other groups to become Homo sapien. Those are the bioregenesis race or bloodline lineage of the Melchizedek, Leviathan, the Illuminati, the Cabal, those on the second path, Metatronic. Originally, some were successfully re-evolved back to path number one through those bodies, through the bioregenesis program, but eventually they just say, no, we don't want to go back to path number one. We want to be master of the universe, and those souls from the universe use those bloodlines to incarnate into this planet and trying to wreak havoc, become master of the universe, and that where that's where we have uh, the war and consciousness become more real, more upfront in our face, as we can see within our history. Uh, a lot of things happen. So those bioregenesis rates become more dominant, even though the population percentage wise, I don't know exact, but they're not dominant. But at least they're dominant on the political scene, the government, the power structure, and the resources. They got all that, so they're very dominant in that part. But people wise, number wise, those on the crystals path number one, there are still the majority, but even they are the majority, they're not what you call like pure 100% crystals. We are right now, like I shared before, we are like a mixed hot pot. It's everything. And different combination, variation, percentage. Uh, but those from the what you call the Melchizedek, Leviathan, the bloodline of those royal families, well, they are more they value being more Metatronic of the original design from the beginning, with mixing less from those from path number one. So with those groups, with us as the angelic human that got seated here with the last seating 800,000 years ago, which we fell from Tau and Harmonics Universe 2, and we're trying to re-evolve back here, but we can't really evolve it peacefully because we have the war and from the cosmic level coming to our front yard, and they incarnated through those uh, biogenesis bloodline, and now they want to take over this planet and eventually become master of the universe. And that's where we have that invisible war in consciousness, and things that happen that people, when they are not awakened or activated enough DNA strand to see through those manipulations and things that are being done blatantly, obviously right in our face. But when people are still asleep within a matrix because they have not activated enough um, or accumulated enough energy, created enough energy to activate enough DNA strand to see through the veil of deception, to see through the frequency fence, to see through all those things that was so obvious right in front of us. And because of that, they are plugged deeply into this 3D matrix, and they're being manipulated by those behind the scene, those in power, to suppress our consciousness from awakening, from expanding our consciousness, from accumulating more energy so we can assimilate more DNA, so we can return back to our full potential. So this war in consciousness involves so many things. On the physical level, we have the poisoning of the planet, well, how we grow and raise our food with all those chemical and toxin, just by lowering the frequency of the planet down, from destroying the soil, from all the wars going on, create those more negative energy and trying to be reversal of the stargates on the planet. Then we have those our propaganda, brainwashing through the media, through movies, and through traditions, and through everything we can think of that to plant thoughts in our mind, we call suggestive programming. So it's not really called thoughts implant directly. Okay, I'm going to implant that thoughts, although it is happening to the invisible, behind the scene, to entities and manipulating our thoughts and our emotion, but mainly right now in the visible matter state, in this 3D matrix, we are being from suggested programming, from TVs, from books, from movies, of how life should be, to religion, especially religion, of how life should be, how you should look at life, and what the future will be like. And they're trying to that manipulation to maintain our limitation. We consciously, through our co-creative power, we consciously limit ourselves through those perception, to limiting thoughts, to this ideology, those ideas that being implanted to our head. So because we, to society, to family, to tradition, all those things around added up. So we are the one that limiting our DNA, our potential, because we believe in those things, because we did not try to reprogram ourselves to break free of those indoctrination. So when we consciously limit ourselves through those thoughts, through this idea like, oh my God, doomsday is coming. We're having a zombie apocalypse, not just zombie apocalypse. We have aliens coming in and attacking. We have virus that turning everybody into zombies, and we have World War 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now the planet is devastated, and we have only a few zones where human can live. Now we have to fight for scraps and kill each other for survival. It is all those things that are being put into our mind of what life, what our future should be, so that they're trying to direct this collective consciousness to create that timeline, that probability to happen. But there's those of us say, hell no, that is not the timeline we want to experience. So we are sharing our perspective, our love, our creativity, our perception, our ideology, everything to our way of life. We are trying to add what you call add to what already existing, to give people another options to experience, to choose. Like, okay, you have conventional farming. Now those of us that are awake and aware or not are being directly consciously, here, try this organic farming, Korean natural farming, Jadam. This can help create higher quality food, cost less. We regenerate the soil. We are not no longer destroying the planet and poison our food and feed it into the population, to giving to people. But now we are creating safer, higher quality food, so that when we add to what already existing, we give people another options. At the same time, we are raising the frequency of the planet to redirect the timeline, to redirect the collective consciousness, not just by our frequency, just by being here, our frequency itself, creating that 100 monkey effect. But what we share, we add, like homeschooling, different ways of thinking, different way of looking at life, having someone just don't have to be something like farming or homeschooling, just by our attitude, by being a comedian, we just bring laughter, lightness to life. Doesn't matter if the sky is falling tomorrow or collapsing or being flooded and stormed. Just because of our positive attitude, we raise people's frequencies up from being despair, hopelessness. Uh, that is lowering the frequency down, lowering the frequency of the planet down and the collective consciousness, just by being providing the freshness of attitude. It helps a lot. And by we have those other groups of other people where they're more not just providing inspiration, but technology, way of life, different options, then all those things add together to provide us an alternative path, alternative way to experience life. And collectively, those actions can raise the frequencies of the people, of the planet, of the environment, so that we don't have to be stuck in that doomsday, gloomday scenario that being pushed upon us every second, every moment, everywhere we look. Now there are other people provide technologies, answers, so that we can consciously become awake and aware and co-create, and not get caught in a matrix and being run around like NPC that act no different than zombie. So we don't have to wait for zombie apocalypse when we are plugged into the matrix so deeply that we are the zombie themselves that are thinking that is awake. It's more like woke, not awake. The woke community that plug into the matrix think that they're awake and aware. So this war and consciousness is real. And when we see and understand that, we understand the politics and what's going on globally and what they're trying to do, seeding fear and cause fear mongering to lower our frequency down and try to suppress our consciousness, to war events, to epidemics, to perception of what the future will be. So once we understand that, we can begin to take our power back more, not just not giving away to fear, but now we take our back from not socially, but also personally, where we have clear boundary. We don't no longer play with a victimizer game, and we learn to love ourselves, accept ourselves, and value ourselves, so that we're no longer being a doormat for people to step on, as we eventually slowly take back our power, so that we can co-create consciously and exit from the matrix and create a new system that is more harmonious to what we like to experience and live. Well, I hope that give people an idea of what we are facing right now, that the majority are not able to see until they are able to break free of the matrix, break free of the frequency fence, the day of forgetfulness, or whatever you want to call that thing. When you accumulate enough energy, like roughly around 4.5 strands of DNA, the exact frequency, I have no idea. But when you become awakened to the spiritual awakening process, then you begin to question life and everything and does not accept everything unconditionally. Then you're able to see clearer through all those deceptions and everything, and start to live consciously and choose whatever path you want, whether you want to be a past, whether you want to be master of the universe, or co-create and live in a more harmonious timeline and not go down the black hole and play down there. Okay. I wish everyone luck in their exploration. Thank you, everyone.